Hi, I'm Dave Cree, and I'm one of the volunteer staff members, but I'm also a wage payroll for my work as an instrument repair and maintenance person. I've been here at Penn State for 31 years. Uh, that was following my retirement from the Belmont School District, where I taught for 35 years there. That wasn't consecutive. I'm not 90 years old, but a number of those years I overlapped being the high school band director and working here with the blue band. Well, I was at a workshop or a conference sitting across the table from Dr. Bundy, and we were discussing, at that point it was a low point in each of our careers. We were a little bit unhappy about what was going on in each of our positions, and I asked him if he would ever consider allowing me to volunteer with the band, and he said sure, because he was in need of help with the blue band. He didn't have all the assistants and volunteers and grad assistants and everything at the time. That was a number of years ago, of course, but he was looking for the help, and I was looking for something different to do with my career. Not to leave the Belmont School District, but something different for me to do. At the time, Dr. Deal was still the director of the blue band, and he allowed me to come in and fix some instruments and assist a little bit at rehearsals. I had some terrific role models when I was growing up. My father was a musician, my grandfather was a musician, and so I naturally chose to start an instrument. Started piano when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, and then when I got to the high school level, I started the saxophone in the band there. I went to a little school called Baldy-Whitney, which has since been absorbed into the Keystone Central School District and so forth. And along the way, I met a tremendous musician, Barry Vanacker. He was a choral director, and I studied piano with him for a bit, and he was very inspirational to me. I also had a high school choral director that was really pretty cool, and I just decided I would give it a try. Both my dad and my grandfather were not professional musicians. They were both bankers, and they still dabbled in music a bit, during their careers and after the wars and all that kind of stuff. So I decided to begin a possible career as a musician, and I went to Westchester University, down outside of Philadelphia. Had a tremendous experience there in music education. And I was hired at Belmont in 1973, and I stayed there for my whole career in public schools, all 35 years. Well, I always joke about the fact that it's a tremendous experience to be able to work with young people that are more talented than I am and smarter than I am. And the only thing that I have that they don't have is many years of experience. It's very impressive to work with young people that are so talented, and they're very personable, and it's really been a very positive experience for me all the years, highs and lows of all the years. It's always been terrific. Well, I've gotten to go places that I never would have gone had I not been with the blue band. We've traveled to probably a couple dozen bowl games in my career, and I've been to different stadiums, and I've learned music that I would not have learned otherwise. Also, I've interacted with some tremendous folks. I mentioned Dr. Bundy earlier in our conversation, and he's just a tremendous guy. He was and continues to be a nice influence in my life. each of the blue band directors that I worked with had their different talents, and Dr. Deal, Dr. Bundy, and Dr. Drain all had talents and skills that I observed and learned from. It's just been a really nice experience for me. Well, as you might imagine, most of the repairs that are memorable were in emergency situations, or we're about to start a particular event and something breaks. So those are all experiences that stick in my mind. I was going to share a funny experience with you today about a memorable repair. One year we were on homecoming weekend, and as you may or may not know, we loan instruments to the alumni coming back, to people that don't own those instruments. Not many people own their own sousaphone, for example, so we loan our practice sousaphones to alumni of the band for that game. We also loan baritones and mellophones and instruments that people wouldn't own themselves, percussion instruments. Well, anyway, the following week after homecoming, our students in the blue band are back on their practice instruments that were used by the alumni over the weekend. And one of the students came to me with a baritone horn and said, "I just can't get any air through this horn. This horn isn't playing right." And I did my usual inspection of the instrument and tried to come up with a diagnosis, and I checked the valves and everything like that. And I was really stumped. So I finally decided that there must be something stuck in the instrument. So after some work to try to get it out, and using a coat hanger to push things through, I found something inside of the baritone horn that I wanted to share with you. A couple other ones that I'm reminded of. We played for the Buffalo Bills one time, actually twice, but one of the times we got there and one of the snare drummers had forgot his carrier for the snare drum. And you can't very well play a marching snare drum without one of those carriers that fit over your body. So all I had in my repair kit that could even remotely help us out was a section of rope. So I actually had to tie the snare drum around his neck and shoulders, and that was pretty memorable. Also, the Rose Bowl was always notorious for repairs happening just before you go out on the parade route. One year we were just marching up to the beginning of the parade, and one of the tenor carriers broke, and I reached in my repair kit and got a whole bunch of plastic zip ties and hooked it all together. And this is while we were moving along on the parade route, and we did fix it enough that he could get through the whole parade. The most important thing to me is how many wonderful young people and staff members that I've met over the years. It's got to number in the thousands of people that I've worked with over the years, and it's really satisfying to me to see these people become so successful in their lives and their careers. I hear from alumni members of the band every year about what they're doing in their band position or their music job, or maybe they're an engineer because we have so many engineering majors. Maybe they're an engineer someplace in a job, and they write to me and just thank me for the experience that they had working with me in the blue band. That's always really satisfying, and it's just really nice to be able to make lifelong friendships with these young people that I know are successful and are really adding to the lives of people around them and the situations that they're in. They're just really great young people, great students in the Blue Band. I think that I wouldn't be stretching things to say that many of the lessons that we learn in the Blue Band have helped these young people in their lives. Maybe the attention to detail and the search for excellence in performance, the preparation, the time management that they have to be able to be in the Blue Band and also be a major in whatever field they're in and be successful in both. I just would like to think that all these alumni are sharing these lessons with their families and their colleagues and their jobs and so forth, because there's so many great things that we've done over the years and continue to do. I have two memorable experiences that I wanted to tell you about. Two things that were probably the two most impressive things that I ever experienced as part of the Blue Band. The first one was the experience of the first time we went to the Rose Bowl. That was just an amazing experience. It was just tremendous to see all these wonderful bands, and there was 2 million people along the parade route, and we performed really well, and we won the bowl game and everything like that. That was just a great experience. And the other memorable experience was 2 years ago when we went to University of Michigan and did a combined show with the Michigan band. That, I think, was the most memorable musical experience I've ever had with a marching band or a band. It was just awe-inspiring how good those two bands worked together. It was a tremendous band. It was huge, just hundreds of people out there in the field, and they were really good. That was a great experience. I still think very fondly of that.